Hi everybody, welcome in. I'm Tammy of the Siberian Wind, and I'm glad you're here. Today is the Route 66 Quilt Along. If you have not followed along so far, there should be a link in the description box that will take you out to the pattern for this quilt, as well as the panel that you need for the center of the quilt. So this is actually month 2 for us, and last month we did Chicago Pavement. This month we are doing the Illinois Star. Now, the Illinois Star is a paper piecing pattern. Chicago Pavement was not paper piecing, but the Illinois Star is. Hey, Regina, welcome in. I see Pat is already in the chat as well. Welcome in, you guys. And make sure you don't forget to hit that thumbs up like button. I appreciate it. YouTube does pay attention to all of that. And I will say this is the first live since the giveaways on Tuesday, which means you can start entering super chats for October. That October giveaway is going to be October 13th. So you can start entering your super chats now, and they will be counted in October. So we are going to start with, let me go over how this works. Okay. let me go over how the pattern says this is going to work. So the pattern gives you paper piecing template pages, and this is your actual paper piecing. Now you can copy that over. Hey Donnell, welcome in. Glad you're here. So you can copy this over to a different kind of paper or whatever. Did I do that? No, I just used regular printer paper. But you do need to make 8 copies of this. You want to keep your original, and you want to make 8 copies of your paper piecing page. Hey, Chris, welcome in. Glad you are here. So what we're going to try to do is I'm going to try to assemble 1 block. You're making a total of 2 of these, which means instead of doing all 8, I'm going to do 4. Autocorrect got you, Donnell. Yep. Yeah, it gets me all the time. Donnell, autocorrect is just a pain. It has been a pain lately. I'll just put it that way. Just putting it that way. All right. So I'm going to turn this fan on. All right. So I'm going to grab 4 of my A sheets, and you have A and B on the same sheet. So the way that this designer has done this is you have an A section and a B section. Hey, Chloe, welcome in. Glad you are here. So I know in the pattern she says pin it, glue it, whatever. I'm not worried about pinning or gluing, but one thing I am going to do is I'm going to take my paper and I'm going to fold it along our stitch lines. So here's piece A1 and piece A2. So we're going to fold along that line, and then to A3, we're going to fold along this line, A4 and A5. So the B is the exact same thing as this, but it's just a reverse because you need the mirror image. So I have the add a quarter plus ruler, and the nice thing about it is it has a beveled edge. So that makes it really easy. Oh, you can really see it there. So it makes it really easy to fold. Now this is the edge that you're going to put up against your stitching in just a minute. So most people think of this ruler and they think of it this way. They think of the frosted side up because that's how you use it most of the time. What I do though, when I fold my paper, is I put that frosted side down. And so I am literally folding against this beveled edge. It's amazing to work that way. So how are you guys doing today? Are you ready for Route 66? Is that a project you're working on with me? You just want to see what it looks like? We're going to see how far we get. If I can get a total of 8 pieces done today, so 4 A's and 4 B's, then we'll go forward from there. And I don't know if you guys can hear the puppy whining in the background. He is perfectly fine and happy and healthy. He's just fussy. Hey, Susan, good morning to you too. Good morning. So glad to see you guys. I saw Sean was up this morning and with Lisa from Awkward Quilter GA. That came across my feed this morning. I was not awake early enough to watch it live, and I've quite frankly been busy getting ready for today. I've got a busy day, so this is just the beginning of that busy day. So I'm so glad you guys are here. How is riding on a day trip to New Hampshire? Oh, that sounds like a fantastic idea, Chloe. is everything blooming up there, or you guys still have cold enough weather too? We had everything starting to bloom here. The trees have grown leaves and all of that. And then we had a fairly decent snow over Thursday night into Friday. Most of the snow was melted, not all of it. But yeah, we got another good little bit of snow come in. All right, so this is what my paper looks like after I have folded all of those lines. So they tell you in this to put piece A1 on the back of A1. So what they did, what the designer did, is she had you cut strips, cut squares, cut triangles, cut some more strips, and cut some more strips. Okay, so she had you pre-cut things to make it easier to paper piece. So we're going to see if I can follow her directions and see if I can do this. In a little bit, we'll get busy on more All Pacific Northwest Shop Hop blocks. Yes, Susan, I cannot wait to see those. I'm so excited that you got to do all of that traveling and going to the shops. That is a little piece of therapy. That's absolutely a little piece of therapy. All right. So let me look and see. Okay, A1 is the triangle. So that's what I'm going to be putting on the back. And then A2 is one of the smaller strips that we cut. So I did not label these. I should have, I guess, but I didn't. So yeah, we're going to see how I can do. We're just going to see, and we're going to see, I'm going to show you guys, because she has you pre-cut things to make it fit, it makes it a little bit easier. You're not guessing with a big piece of fabric. I'm hoping you get it right. All right. So A1 is right here, and then A2 is right here. So I'm not going to worry about trimming everything down to the right size. But what I'm going to do is, this is my A1, and there is a right side and a wrong side to A1. So I'm going to put it right side up, and I'm going to put my A2 down on top of it because I kind of know how it's going to go. I know we're going to be sewing this strip onto this triangle, and we're going to see how this works. Okay. So I'm going to flip my page over. This is where A1 is, and that's where A2 is. I'm going to fold it over. So A1 is on top, and then I'm going to lay this on top of there and make sure I have plenty of clearance. So I want to make sure that I've got 1/4 of an inch seam allowance over here, and that I've got, it's fully covering everything on the other side. I want to make sure that I'm completely covering everything. So I'm going to pick up and hold this, but if you need to pin, absolutely pin. So when I start with paper piecing, I always start by trying to make sure my pieces are right sides together, because right sides together matters more than anything else when it comes to this. Because if you don't put it right sides together, you're going to have it messed up. So there should always be a right sides together on this. And I do not need my leader fabric for this project. So one thing I'm also going to do is, the lines do not continue all the way out into the seam allowance. I'm going to continue those lines into the seam allowance. And I'm also going to reduce my stitch length to just under 2, well, about 1.5. Yes, Chloe says she's excited to see more of your shop hop blocks too. Yeah, I am so excited to see those, Susan. There's so much creativity goes into those blocks and into those shop hops, and it really stretches your imagination because you don't know what to expect. You really just don't know. Okay, so I've sewn along that one line. Oh, didn't throw my thread. So when I turn it back over, when I fold this back out, then I want to make sure before I go any further that my piece covers the entire area that it needs to cover, and it does. So I'm going to go ahead and press this, and then we'll do A3 and continue on. So that's kind of how this whole thing is going to go. The first two pieces on each will be right sides together. And then I'm going to go ahead, and I wish I had set up a camera over here, so I'm sorry that I didn't. But I'm going to fold my paper back, and then I'm going to use my add a quarter ruler because it's going to sit right on the paper edge there. And you see how much I'm going to be able to trim off that I don't need in my seam allowance. So I am going to trim that off. And I'm not worried about stray threads right now. Stray threads are not a big deal. I can always trim those later. And you do reduce your stitch length to make sure that you can tear the paper easily. If you are doing the tear paper version, which is what I'm doing on this one, you always do want to make sure that you reduce that stitch length. So, all right, so that was A2. A3 is probably going to be, yep, okay. So it's going to be, for me, this shade of blue, this solid, which also doesn't have a right side or a wrong side. So it makes it so much easier. I think it's appropriate that Susan just got done doing so much of a road trip, and then Chloe is doing a road trip, and we are working on Route 66, which is a road trip in and of itself. I think that's hilarious and appropriate and so funny all at the same time. So I may not be able to get both blocks done in the 2 hours that I allotted for today, but we are going to try to get at least one of the two done. I think that's my goal, is to get one of them done. All right. So I lined this piece up with my seam allowance there. And so now I'm going to fold it over. And guess what, guys? I did not check. I need it to go all the way down here. So I might have to rip it. So this is why you don't put your stitch length super tiny unless you just have to, because your paper won't tear. So I did leave it large enough so I can rip it. So I'm gonna have to rip this out, and we're gonna fix it. But this is why I don't do, when I do paper piecing, I don't do chain piecing until I've gotten one done successfully. So I cannot wait. I want to take a road trip so bad. I want to just get out of town and just be nowhere and everywhere all at the same time. Do you guys know that feeling? Just being nowhere and everywhere? Is it just me? Is that a Tammy thing, or is that a road trip thing? Is that everybody? Do y'all feel that way? I mean, we were talking about road trip snacks the other day, and I'm actually almost done with that beef jerky. The brand that donated for my husband's nonprofit trips, we were curious about what they tasted like, so we went and got it back, and it's absolutely delicious. So if what they donated to us is exactly what I bought, which I think it is, everybody's gonna love it. It's so soft, such good soft beef jerky. All right, so this is where my piece was. I'm gonna pick it up and I'm gonna shift it down to where it's going to completely cover what I need it to cover this time, which is covering all the way down here. Now, usually what I do is I fold my pieces back like this. Like I fold my paper back and then look through to see if I've got it covered. But I didn't do that this time, and that's why I had to rip. So you guys have officially seen me pull out Jackie for the first time today. And hopefully for the only time. We're going to cross fingers that that was the only time I need Jackie today. The second time you stitch a seam through paper, you can, especially when you use a smaller stitch length, it's amazing because you don't hear that paper sound like you did the first time. It is such a different experience. All right, so now we're going to test and make sure that it covers. And it does. Okay, so this piece was fine. This piece I could have shifted just a little bit, but this piece you definitely have to shift down. I am on vacation this week. I have a pharmacy conferences virtual this week. Oh, that's awesome. I like that you're on vacation. But having a pharmacy convention while you're on vacation, I'm not sure about that part. I'm not sure about that. But like that's like a working vacation. Is that really a vacation if it's a working vacation? Are you actually working on the vacation? Or what are we doing? Are we doing a work vacation? I took a work vacation to Chicago. I've been to Texas. Where else have I been? I've been to Oklahoma and Kansas on work vacations. Where else have I been? I don't know. But I know I've been those places. I've been those places for sure. All right. So this is where my next fold line is. This is where my next stitch line is. So I'm going to have quite a bit that I'm going to trim off, but that's okay. That is to be expected. That is the nature of paper piecing. Sometimes you'll have just a little bit to trim off. Sometimes you'll have a lot. And if she'd given us templates, then I would probably have less to trim off, but it would be harder to cut to begin with. This is much easier. Wednesday is my day trip to the north region of the shop hop to finish that region. I've already been to 6 of the shops in the southern and eastern edge of that region, so it's the I-5 corridor left. You are knocking them out, Susan. You are absolutely knocking them out. I'm kind of like that too. When I go to tackle like a shop hop, I really want to just knock them all out in an order that makes sense. Okay, so this next piece is A4. Let's see. Oh, it just says add subsequent pieces in order. Okay. So A2, B2, A4, B4. Okay. So this thicker piece is the one I got to use right now. Not a real vacation, but I can sew well listen. Oh, there you go. I like the sound of that, Chloe. That's a good vacation. Being able to sew while you're working. Yeah. I can sympathize, and I like that idea. I like that idea a lot. All right. So this next piece is back to that oyster color, and it's really odd how they have you putting this here because it doesn't quite line up the way I was expecting. So we're going to see how it does. We're just going to see, and then if I need to rip it out, I will rip it out and we will start over. We'll keep adjusting until I'm happy with it. All right. And B is the exact opposite of this. So what I'm going to do is after I do this one, I will do all 3 of the A's, and I will do all 4 of the B's that I need for one block in chain piecing. So you guys will see me sew off of one onto the next. It's not going to be chain, but it's going to be close enough. Close enough. Chloe says, me too. Yeah, being able to sew while you're working is fantastic. Okay, so this is the piece that I just added on. What I was worried about is coming down here, but I have enough in the seam allowance. I should be fine, okay? But if I didn't come all the way up here where I did, I would worry that I don't have enough. So we're going to go with that. All right. Make sure that if you haven't done paper piecing in a while, or this is new for you, that you do not put steam in your iron. You do not use steam rather. I always have water in my iron, but I did not turn on steam. You don't want to crinkle your paper and have it being all kind of funky on you. You don't want to do that. All right, now A5 is going to be my arch nemesis, I think. Maybe. We're going to see. The Lake Washington and Puget Sound shops are more concentrated and quicker to go between shops. In the rural areas of Washington, Idaho, and Oregon, much longer driving between shops. I bet. I'm just thinking about the landscape of Washington and Oregon and Idaho, because we drove through all that when Mr. Siberian Wind was driving. And yeah, there's a lot of there's a lot of space. There's a lot of space. It's kind of like Wyoming in that there's a lot of space. I think your drive is probably a little bit more interesting than mine is some of the time. I mean, I still love my drive, don't get me wrong. I love my drive here in Wyoming. No matter where I'm going, I love it. But I can see the difference. Susan doesn't put water in her irons anymore. I do on this one because this iron really takes it well. This iron really does perform well with steam. So I do put water in mine. So we're going to see, I think I cut it a little close on that last piece. So we're going to see if I am going to be redoing anything or not. We're just going to see in just a minute. I don't think I'll be redoing anything, but we're going to find out in just a minute. All right. I will say this, for a paper piece block, this is a fairly easy block. So I'm not disappointed. Oh, good, good. Okay. So I was worried that I didn't leave myself enough seam allowance right here, but I did. So this is piece one, or this is one of the A pieces. So let me trim it up so you guys can kind of see what this looks like once it's completely trimmed. And that way you guys can get an idea while I'm working on the rest of them. Because we're going to do all the rest of them in quick order. It's only 10:30. So it took me 30 minutes with talking about it to get through this. So that's not too bad. That's not too bad. When I'm not talking through it, it probably will go a lot faster. But I always got to do one, right? Who else does one before you do anything else? Who else does a test one? Am I the only one who does tests anymore? I don't think I am. I don't think I am. All right. Hi, pal. Yeah. Hi, baby. He went to go check things out, and then he's coming back. And he doesn't know where he wants to lay with his tuba. All right. And I think he's chosen a place. All right, so this is piece one, A1. So you can kind of see that I've got my dark blue, my medium blue or light blue, and then I've got two very light pieces and then a darker piece. So that will show up more once all of this is done. Okay. See, Chloe doesn't put water in her mini Oliso. I do put water in that one too. It works really well. It runs out really fast though. I will say that. My mini Oliso just absolutely goes through water. Beautiful areas to drive through though. Was watching an Oregon Ghost Towns video and had seen a small town on Highway 97 in Oregon that I wondered about it being remote, so run down when I drove by it. Learned why. Yeah. Isn't that so much fun when you learn the why to anything? I think it just makes everything click. All right, so I need 3 of these. We're going to do 3 of the A's, and we're going to do 4 of the B's. And then I will do the rest off camera. That way you guys aren't sitting here watching me fumble through it when I've only got an hour and a half left. I want to make sure that I get through. I'm sitting here trying to do more. Yes, it is. Chloe says that is a cool story, Susan. So here's one of the funny things. I used to do abandoned site photography. So I would go find an abandoned house or abandoned warehouse or mill or mine or whatever. You know, there's always something abandoned somewhere, right? I used to go find those and I would go photograph them. And I'm very much of the opinion, leave nothing behind but your footprints. You know, so you take nothing and you leave nothing. Or take nothing but pictures, leave nothing but footprints. So I don't disturb anything. I don't take souvenirs. Aside from my photographs, like I don't collect things just to destroy whatever somebody left. And back in Alabama, that was really, really easy to figure out what places were abandoned because nobody mowed the grass. Nobody cuts down all the weeds and the trees growing through the cars, and like, you know, when something's been there a while in the Southeast because everything is growing around it and through it and all of that. So I get out here, you can't tell. I mean, well, there are some tells. There's a few that I've learned after being out here for a couple of years. But there's still so many places that are inhabited that are not abandoned, but they look abandoned to me. So I haven't been able to do much abandoned site photography since I moved here, just because I don't know. I don't want to, and Wyoming is definitely a stand your ground state. So the last thing I want to do is to go try to take photos of a place that is abandoned and find out that it actually isn't and that I'm trespassing. That's the last thing I want to do. I do not want a trespassing charge. I don't want to find myself in need of a doctor in the middle of nowhere. Like, I don't want that. But you can't really tell what's abandoned here. Not like you could in the Southeast. Now, when Tom and I were traveling, there is an abandoned, not really a shop. There was a warehouse building kind of place, like a barn maybe. And there was like a shelter where there was some really old tractor in there. And then once you get out there and you start looking, you are discovering all of these other tractors. I mean, just there's a whole circle where they'd kind of been parked on a driveway, or a gravel driveway, mind you, but they'd all been parked there and left. I mean, there was trees growing through them. There was vines all wrapped around the steering wheels. You didn't even know there were tractors there until you went and started walking towards them. Like, you would just be walking, thinking you were walking in the woods, and lo and behold, there's a tractor right in the middle of everything. Those pictures where there's a tree, there's a car literally in between two trees, that kind of stuff. Quite literally that kind of stuff. And that was an amazing stop. Now, there had been some squatters that had taken over the area for a little bit. So we found some newer stuff, discard stuff, like food wrappers and of course cigarettes, because it's so common that that's what somebody turns to pass their time when they're bored. But it was the most interesting abandoned site that I think I have done, aside from the golf range. The golf range was hilarious. Have any of you guys ever gone someplace that's abandoned? I've been to other places that are haunted. I've definitely done some haunted places. That's been a while though. I take that back. I went someplace that was haunted last summer. I got to go someplace that was haunted. And it's here in Wyoming. So I love learning the histories of where I've been. I have to drive back there to finish that region. We'll take my camera, take pictures of Shaniko, only about 30 people who live there. Oh, that'd be awesome. Small towns sometimes have the richest histories. They really do. They really, really do. All right. So I've got one A1 and A2. So we're going to do the second one. I've been to some here in Washington. There was one place in Alabama that I went to, and you guys know that I'm a photographer as well. And I went to this place with my camera, And there's one section of this place that when you go to take photographs, your photos will not turn out, period. It doesn't matter if it's digital or film. Your photos will not turn out, or they turn out really, really funky. My film camera, none of the pictures came out. They were just, I mean, I had enough light. I know I did. That was not the issue. But my pictures inside the tunnel just would not turn out, period. So my film camera, nothing came out. But I also had my digital camera with me because it was dual shooting at the time. And my digital camera refused to focus. Like, I tried focusing it manually, and I couldn't manually focus. But my digital focusing wouldn't focus either. Like, that tunnel was really creepy. I enjoyed it, but it was creepy. You know, that feeling when, you know, everything drops a few degrees and gets really cold suddenly. But that definitely happened. That definitely happened to me. It doesn't scare me. I promise. Stuff like that doesn't scare me. Just watching a horror movie on TV scares me. Or watching a horror movie in the movie theater scares me. But going to an abandoned site or going to a haunted location does not scare me. I don't know if I should be scared. I don't know. So Chloe, may wherever you're going in New Hampshire not be haunted. We're not hoping that you're going on a haunted adventure this weekend or this week. Oh. Could you imagine staying in a haunted... No, I shouldn't say that. I shouldn't say imagine staying in a haunted hotel. That's not fair. Hi, Tourmaline. Welcome in. Welcome. Glad you're here. We are working on the Route 66. So I've done 1/8 of the block. So I've got 7 more of these to go. Hey, Maria, welcome in. Thank you so much. She says good morning. I just subscribed. I have seen you on my so-called life. Yes, you have. I'm there every Monday. Most every Monday. I've had to leave a couple of times, but I try to stick it out. I get to talk a lot more here. I don't get to talk as much over there. Mondays is my quiet night, but I'm so glad you're here. So glad you made it. So I only host Saturdays every so often. This is the Route 66 program, and it's always going to be on a Saturday. I move it around a little bit depending on what I have going on. So it's not always the same Saturday every month. Then I have Sunday night, Tuesday nights, and second and fourth Friday nights that I am live. Hi, Pat. Welcome back in the chat. Look up the Plains Hotel that's haunted in Cheyenne. Ooh, very interesting story. And according to eyewitnesses, it's still very haunted. Ooh, I might have to check that out. I've heard of the Plains Hotel, but I think I've walked by it, but I don't think that I've actually explored it, so to speak. Now there's a Plains Hotel in Douglas too. Do you know if that one is haunted? Because I've been there a few times. I've eaten there. Susan says that she took a picture of a family picnic when she was newlywed, and in the photo there's an older man standing next to an elderly lady that no one else saw. Ooh, that's creepy, Susan. The snow ruined all my blooms. Oh no, I was so worried about that, Dorlin. I was so worried. Oh my gosh, Maria lives on Route 66 by the teepees on Foothill Boulevard. Oh my goodness. That's exciting. I really want to get back out on the road someday and take the whole Route 66. I do want to start in Chicago and go all the way to California and then drive back. Just so I don't miss anything, because sometimes you see something going one direction and you don't see it going the other. So I do want to do that. It's just going to be a little bit before I can afford to do that. It's on my bucket list, It's just not on my next week bucket list. The Davenport Hotel in Spokane is said to be haunted. Ooh, you guys are giving me creepy places to check out. I like that. I like that. I am definitely not scared of the creepy in person. I don't know why I can't handle the movies though. The horror movies, the scary movies. I don't know why I can't handle those, but I can handle creepy buildings. I don't know. I don't know why that is. Does anybody have an idea as to why I might be able to handle one and not the other? I don't know what the deal is. I'm weird, I guess. Maybe it's the Halloween girly in me. And I just have to have the creepy in person. Maybe that's what it is. We'll chalk it up to I have to have it in person. I'm a thrill seeker, I guess. I don't know. I don't know that I would necessarily call myself a thrill seeker, but maybe that's what it is. Maybe. All right. So Maria, since you are new to my channel, I do want to let you know the link to this pattern that I'm working on is in the description. You can get the pattern as well as the panel from the same company. They, or at least they had it last time that somebody checked. I try to keep the links updated. So if I find that it's no longer available or something, I would take it off. But there is there should be a link in the description that will take you to the pattern and the panel for it. So we are putting together a Route 66 quilt. There's a lot of Route 66s out there. A lot of Route 66 quilt because the name is not exclusive, because it's a real thing and everybody's going to name everything after it. But this one is fantastic. This quilt is absolutely fantastic. So we're just in month 2 of it. So you got plenty of time to join in. It is a 12-month program. Not sure about the other Plains Hotel, but room 444 is considered the most haunted room, with reports of Rosie crying and laughing, and guests often requesting it for the paranormal experience. That would be fun, I think. Don't quote me on that. My luck, I'll get there and nothing will happen. That will be my luck. Sometimes when I'm in some place that's slightly paranormal, things will show up, and then sometimes it won't. When I lived in North Alabama, I lived in Huntsville, there were ghost tours. And there's 4 routes that you could take. So you basically, if you wanted to take all the different routes, you had to book the multiple different nights to go take it. Or you... every year when they hosted the new ghost tour, you took a different route from the one you took the year before because you wanted to see more or hear more stories. There was 2 of the years that I lived there that I did see things. It was really kind of fun. And I mean, I was seeing things that other people on the tour weren't seeing. So I don't know what that means, but I'm not going to speculate, but I did enjoy those ghost tours. And then they also had what they call a cemetery stroll. And there's one out here that they do too, that one of the theater groups does, but they don't do nearly as good of a job, in my opinion, as the cemetery stroll in Huntsville. In Huntsville, the cemetery was completely full. There was actors all over the cemetery. And if you've never heard of a cemetery stroll, what they do is these actors and actresses who agree to be an actor and actress for the purpose of the cemetery stroll, they research the person whose tomb they're going to sit or stand by, and they dress in appropriate clothing for the time frame of when the person would have lived, or they dress as a member of the person's family to tell about that person. Like, there's all kinds of ways to present it. In Huntsville, you got a lot of Civil War and pre-Civil War families. I don't know what you would have out here. I don't know how that would work out here. I know like a couple of the characters maybe from the cemetery strolls here, but I haven't been to the cemetery stroll. It's not as easily accessible for me. So I may try to go next year and go tour the or next time they do it and tour the cemetery stroll. I think it would be fun. I have not made it to one of them yet. I just know about it because I know people who are in it. So I guess I should withhold my judgment, but I don't think as much stuff out here is haunted quite the same way that things are haunted back in the Southeast. So, I mean, it's haunted. Don't get me wrong. There's haunted places out here. There's definitely haunted places out here. And I apologize if that's not your normal content from me, because it isn't my normal content to talk about haunted places. That's just where the conversation took us this morning. So let's hope that nothing is haunted this weekend, shall we? I don't want to scare anybody off. All right. So how many of you like paper piecing? Or how many of you don't ever attempt paper piecing, don't know how to paper piece? Where do you stand on paper piecing? Oh, we're dropping viewers, guys. I know it's Saturday. I know it's a busy day. That's okay. That's okay. I should not be looking at numbers tonight. Today, I am here to enjoy working on this quilt project. All right. One thing I'm going to do real quick in just a second. Right, Rita? FPP, woohoo, right? Welcome in. Glad you're here. Glad you made it in. All right, we are going to, let's see if I've got one. I was going to try to do this without doing a full clip, but apparently I gotta get a full clip. All right. Let's see if that will work. That'll work. Good enough. Okay, so we have 1/8 of the block. Nope, I do not stand on FPP, just sew through it. FPP doesn't faze me. It doesn't stop me at all. I'm not scared of it. Been doing it a while. Be back later, says Chloe. That's fine. Never tried but interested. Awesome. Awesome. If you would like to try one along with the tutorial, I have a video, and I don't know if anybody wants to go pull the link. Let me see. For it, it's the December 2023 free pattern that I did, and it's paper piecing. So you get the pattern as well as all the tutorial on how to do it. Rip It said, Mona, welcome in. She says, I'm not scarred. Right? I've not started the Route 66 yet. Have it all sitting here, but not started. So the nice thing is, Rita, with this block with the FPP, she has you cut your pieces, but then you're going to like place them and trim them. So you're not cutting templates or anything like that. Rippa says, hi, my stitches. I know, right? Rita says, let me find it. Perfect. Perfect. All right, so I'm going to fold my papers now for the next seam, and I'm going to trim my seam allowance. And this is the one, this next piece is the one that I had to rip earlier. Hey, Rena, welcome in. She says, hello, just remembered. That's okay. I'm glad you remembered. Welcome in. Glad you could make it. So I'm folding the next one, which is this one right here, where my red fingernail is. There we go, red fingernail. And so I'm going to be putting this piece in. That's the one I had to rip on the first one that I did and replace it. Oh, Dorlyn has never sewn any paper pieces. Paper piecing is fun because it's exact and you don't have to work on it. Or well, you do have to work on it, but you don't have to do such accurate cutting to get there, because the paper is deciding where your line should be. You're not having to think it through and do all this extra for it. You're just having to fold, trim, and then you're going to be ready to stitch. Okay? That is all you've got to do. So the first two pieces, I made sure we put right sides together, and then everything else is right side down to the fabric. Oh, Mona's never done paper piecing either. Very interested. Rita's working on her second FPP quilt. See, there you go. There you go. Let me see real quick. Since I don't have a mod in here that's able to get this pulled real quick. Let me grab the playlist. Let me go to playlist. I'm looking for the tutorials. Let me see. Make sure I pause that so that way you guys aren't randomly hearing stuff pop up. August freebie, December freebie paper piecing pattern. There we go. That's the one I'm looking for. Let me share this out to you guys. So if you are looking for a tutorial on paper piecing, there is a pattern, so you can download the pattern. I'm going to pin that to the message board or to the top of the chat. So you can click back and go watch that video, go save it in your favorites or whatever. There is a free pattern, and I show you how to put that pattern together. So that is a pattern that I drew, and during that video I walk you through how to accurately foundation paper piece, and that's a great starter. It's beautiful. It comes out very beautifully, and it is a star pattern, and it's very much like this one. You need 8 sections to make one block, because every quadrant has 2 sections. Every quarter has 2 sections. Rita says 160 foundation paper piece flying birds, and the last one, this one is 0 flying birds, just straight lines. So I am doing one that is 250 paper pieced stars. It's a lot. It's a lot. Oh, Rita just started making your own foundation paper piecing patterns. See, there you go. Foundation paper piece patterns are not that hard to make. You just have to realize where your lines need to go, and that is oftentimes the hardest part of it. It's just knowing where your next line needs to go. It is super fun. Now, for those of you who are new to paper piecing, I recommend on your first paper piecing pattern that you either work with solids, that it doesn't matter if there's a front or a back to it, or you work with batiks, which also doesn't matter if there's a front or a back to it. That way you get down the rhythm of paper piecing without the stress of worrying about whether or not you got the fabric right side up or wrong side up. So make sure that you try, I would recommend that you try with solids or batiks. That way you don't have to worry about the right side or wrong side of the fabric. Just work on the technique of paper piecing, and then it's easier to pick up the right side and wrong side part later on. Oh, you're so welcome, Mona. She says, good advice for the solids. Yes, yes. Rita says her flying birds are on point. Thank you, thank you. I've done a lot of teaching. I've done a lot of teaching. I've got more teaching coming up this year too, and I'm super excited about it. But I'm not teaching paper piecing this year. That is not on the agenda. I think I will for next year. I think that's going to be the plan, is to do this to do paper piecing for next year's teaching rounds. But we'll see. We'll see what I think I can sell better. Solids, well, I did an FPP that's all scrappy. It has 288 pieces per side, and there are 8 sides. Oh my goodness. That was your first FPP. Okay, so I will say this. So someone who's never attempted FPP before, if you are not told that FPP can be challenging, then you're going to go in there and not knowing that, and you're going to assume that it's going to be easy, And that changes your entire outlook, and it makes it actually a lot easier. If you go in knowing that something should be hard, then it's going to be hard. If you go in knowing something might be easy, or you don't know enough to know whether it's going to be easy or hard, it's much easier for you to grasp it and not panic about it than if you knew it was supposed to be hard. Knowing it's supposed to be hard is the worst part of it. Worst part of it. It's a double spinning star. Ooh, I want to do one of those. Hey, Terry, dropping by to say hello. Just finished clue 7. I will stay as long as I can. I appreciate every moment, Terry. Thank you so much. And guys, don't forget to hit a thumbs up, please. No, I was after a challenge and still refused to sew on the paper. Oh, Rita. Oh my gosh. I've got, I have a Jacqueline DeJong pattern to do, and I think that one's going to be a little bit more challenging for me. As Terry says, her first FPP came out mirrored, didn't know it was supposed to. Oh my goodness. Yep, it does come out mirrored. The fun part, so for those of you who don't know or you're new to my channel, I published a pattern called Temperature Rings, and it is still available. It is a double wedding ring quilt that is a temperature quilt. So you are literally putting your temperature values into the rings of the double wedding ring. Well, for the letters, for what month we were doing, I put them in paper piecing. I drew them. And the first one of the letters that I sewed and I tested it. And I was like, this doesn't look right. This really doesn't look right. I was looking at it, trying to figure out why it didn't look right. And then I realized it was backwards. So I had drawn everything my direction and not reversed it. So I had to go in and do all the reversals so that it would make sense. Oh my gosh, it was a mess. It was a mess. Okay, so when I get done, all right, here's where I'm at. I'm going to show you this one because I'm going to do all 7 of these pieces the same. So I've got my fabrics right here that are right sides. I'm putting them right sides down to my next piece. This is my normal how I do that. I don't typically pick my fabrics up and hold them up when I get to this point. Once I get past those first 2 pieces, I just lay everything on my table, okay? So I put it right sides together, and right sides together is the important thing. And then you line up your seam allowances. Then you flip it over, and then you're going to stitch on that line. Yes, it is inverted pieces. So the way that you see it here, Mona, is going to be exactly opposite of how you're going to see it, because you're looking at the back side. The table is looking at the front side. So the table side is what everybody else is going to see when they're done. Rita says, temperature ring quilt for Arizona is red, not a lot of fun. Okay, so the temperature rings, you can do a temperature quilt for Arizona and not have it come out all one color. Because your temperature ranges don't vary quite so much, you would actually choose a shorter range. So instead of doing 10 degrees or doing 12 degrees or whatever to have the number of degrees of separation or whatever, you do like 3 or 5. You do a lot less of a variation between temperature ranges, and that's how you would achieve that. It is possible, Rita. I promise. It is possible. Let's see. I designed the FPP pattern that I used to make a quilt for my older daughter for her college graduation. Sent blocks and a fabric pin to friends and relatives to write out. Oh, that's nice. That's very nice. I still need to quilt my great niece's graduation quilt, so that is still pending. I got told that they do want me to ship it. They don't want me to wait until they get up here in June, so I'm going to ship it to her. But I still have to quilt it. And we're halfway through April, and it is not quilted yet. I was going to quilt it on Ricky, ran into an issue quilting it, and it's still sitting there pinned. It is sitting there. Tammy, yes, I have a temperature ring for Arizona. That's fine. It's the exact reason I do not sew on the paper. Way too confusing when you do that. So I don't find sewing on the paper confusing. Sometimes I find not sewing on the paper more confusing than sewing on the paper, but that's just me. If you are not going to sew on your paper, so what we're talking about, freezer paper is one that I don't sew through. So when I do temperature rings, I do freezer paper and I don't sew on it. There's a couple of other projects that I do that way. This is not one of them. I'm not worried about this small amount of paper. But if I was doing a whole quilt of just this, I would probably do freezer paper. So what you do is instead of folding this out like we've been doing and sewing on the line, you leave it folded and you sew right next to the line. You can do it that way. It's harder to chain piece unless you have multiple copies. And I like chain piecing this. So I did need the multiple copies anyway. So it was neither here nor there for me on this project. But on temperature rings, I definitely do not sew through the paper. I do freezer paper and sew right next to my paper. That's exactly what I do. Let's see. Terry doesn't sew on her papers either. Sewing them hurts my brain. Well, there's just times that this is just easy peasy to just sew through the paper. And sometimes for a beginner, it makes a little bit more sense because it holds everything in place better and they're not struggling to worry about it. Rita says now it's bugging her. She's getting her Route 66 pattern out. See? I told you. You knew you were going to want to do this one with me. I knew you were going to want to do it. I loved this when I saw it in the shop window, and I just had to have it. It was not one I could wait on. It's absolutely something that I needed. I needed in my life. I've made 3 elephant abstractions by Violet Craft and used the same pieces over and over. I do understand why sewing papers works, but yeah. So I did one. Now all of my Judy Niemeyer, I sew through the paper. I'm not saving the Judy Niemeyer patterns for later. I'm sewing through the paper. It's just too much hassle for me to try to save newsprint. Newsprint is so thin and rips so easily. It's just easier to sew through it. I have it including the panel. I've just not started it yet. That's okay. So the way she has you do this is you start with you cut strips for every block and you put them in the bags. So she does recommend a bag system for it. So you put it in a bag with I did a little post-it note to label each block. But then, when you go to that month, then she has you subcut your strips down. So anytime you have leftovers from one month, I'm combining that because there's something that I ran out of and I don't know why. So we'll find out why later. Leftism is such a newbie. Can you show me the picture of the pattern? Yes. Let's see. I got to show you what I can show you. Let's put it that way. Because it is a purchase pattern, so I can't show you everything. Let's see. Do that. And do this. So this is what the block is going to look like. Sorry about that, guys. Apparently somebody's at the front door. So this is what it's going to look like. So these blocks in the corner are actually going to have seams in them. She did not draw the seams in there. So they are going to have seams in them. Let's see. So I did a pattern, gosh, years ago now. And in that pattern, I was making 27. Boss is in charge of security. He absolutely is. And he takes his job very seriously. You do not argue with the boss. He's got to make sure you guys know that there was somebody at the door. That was what I was looking at, Tammy. Yep. So this is piece A. So, but when you look at, okay, let's see. This is A as well. Okay. So this is piece A on paper. It goes that direction. Piece A, when you see it in fabric, goes this direction. Does that make sense a little bit? That's the one on the lower left and upper right of the panel. Yeah. Yeah. It's she catty cornered it. That looks perfect. Lower left. Very good. We were missing something the other day, guys. It got delivered, or we were told it was delivered. And it wasn't actually delivered. So we filed, requests for, them to locate what happened as to why it wasn't actually delivered, and it just got delivered. So I'll have to ask more details later as to how that happened, but yeah, we just got something delivered. Blue howled to say hi at your dog. Aw, hi back to Blue. That's so awesome. Well, kind of awesome. I feel sorry for you if you didn't want Blue howling. Oh my goodness. Too bad Paladin could not hear him. Paladin would have had a blast hearing that he had a second in command helping him. I love it. I love it. Okay, just making sure I was looking at the right one. Yeah, you are, Rita. I just posted a pic of the signature quilt in the Facebook group as a Sew and Tell. Perfect, Susan. I cannot wait to go see that too. I cannot wait to go see that. I got 2 more of these to do, and this will be the 7 pieces I've got left for block A, or 1 block rather, because I need to do 2 total blocks, and I'm only going to do 1 today because just time. Just time, because we are already an hour in and I only have that 1/4 done. Now, adding all of these pieces now that I've seen how the one works really makes it so much faster. I'm not having to think about it too much. Tell your dog I said hi to you, Terry. That's perfect, Terry. Perfect. I love it. All right. Now, one thing is, you're not reusing any of the pieces. So if you have, if you're going to do all of 1 block first and then do all of the second block, you're not putting the same smaller pieces into a second spot in the block. You are only doing it once. I hope that makes sense. So there's 2 of this piece right here. You have 2 different size cuts that you make to do that. The St. Louis star and the Illinois star are the only FPP. Yes, there's only 2 FPP blocks in this whole quilt. Everything else is straight cut and sew. Cut and piece like normal. The traditional size. Do you have a picture of Route 66? I do not have it handy, I don't believe. So, but, hang on, let's see. Let me go click in the description and see real quick. I get the pattern at Honeybee Fabrics, and let's see if she's got it listed. Okay, there we go. All right, let's see if I can snip this. All right, I thought wait a minute, maybe I do have it. Bear with me, guys. Let me see if I do have it. In fact, because I might. And my software is not cooperating with me to let me have all my options. And I don't know why. There we go. That's what I needed. All right, let me see if I do in fact have. I've got Gnome Sweet Gnome. Oh, yes, I do. I'm sorry. I do. Okay. Hang on. I do have a picture of it already stored. I'm going to move it though. So that is the picture of this quilt. I thought I did have it. Great lady who owns that company. I know, right? Thank you so much, Rita. And guys, yeah, if you were considering getting this pattern, Honeybee Fabrics, if she still has it, she's fantastic to deal with, guys. She got rave reviews from Rita. Fantastic, helpful lady, and did everything that we needed for her, and just absolutely fantastic customer service. So if you want to go get a copy of your Route 66, definitely go check out that link. Go to Honeybee Fabrics and go get it. Oh, you're so welcome, Mona. This is not something everybody would be familiar with either. And when you look up Route 66, it doesn't immediately take you to this. You had to look, you had to know what you're looking for. So yes, it is a fantastic quilt. I'm so glad somebody asked, because I didn't think I did have it. And then I just was like, you know, I feel like I should. I feel like I do. So it's just a matter of finding it. But yeah, Mona's gonna get it, right? See, I told you, I'm addictive, guys. I'm good at that. I can get you started on stuff. I can't help you finish it necessarily. Well, I'm trying. You got one video plus this one now to follow along as you sew. And I am using fabrics from my stash. I did not buy a kit. So you can do it with fabrics from your stash, from your own supply. The panel, however, I did buy that. And I used the panel to help kind of figure out what fabrics I wanted to use. Yeah, Rita says she talked to the owner on the phone and she was great. I know, right? She's absolutely amazing. I know, I'm such an enabler, right, Mona? Looks like 2 of every block and 4 of the corners. Yes, that's exactly what it is. That's exactly what it is. And I believe that corner block is the other, yeah, that corner block is the other FPP block. So it is going to come out beautiful. Yeah, the panel is separate, guys. So when you go to order, if you want the panel to go in the middle, which I recommend, but if you want that panel to go in the middle, then you need to make sure that you get that panel too. They are not that small. They're like 12-inch finished or something like that. They're nice and decent. They're all the same size. Let me see. Yeah. It's gonna be 12-inch finished. They're gonna be fantastic. They're not small. The quilt is, gosh, let me go back to the page. The quilt is 74 by 87. So it's a decent sized quilt. Rita says, I know, Mona. She is very much an enabler. All her fault, right? I'm totally an enabler, guys. Welcome to my channel. I'm Tammy. I'm the Siberian Wind. I'm enabling you. I guess I should add that to my disclosure, shouldn't I? That you are now at the channel of the enabler. Now, I don't want everybody to necessarily do everything that I do, but I love it. Yeah, Terry's like, oh, okay, maybe because I'm looking at the picture shown. Yeah, it does look tiny on that picture, and it's just because there's no better way for me to put it on the screen. I'm hiding behind, my elbow is hidden behind the picture. All right, so I got 2 more pieces to add to each one, and then I will be able to put the block together, and that will be quick and easy peasy. So we're getting there. We're getting there. Rita says she just loves the, I know. Isn't it a gorgeous panel? It's well printed, in my opinion. I haven't like tried to square it up or anything, so don't get me wrong, I haven't gone that far, but it's gorgeous. The panel is big. It feels like it. Well, I mean, you got 2 blocks on either side, and they're 12-inch tall blocks, and you've got sashing. So yeah, you got quite a bit of extra there. And I saw this in the shop window. I loved it. I'm playing around and trying to figure out a quilt as you go blocks. Ooh. So I like log cabin quilts as you go blocks. Log cabin is a really good one for me, at least for quilts as you go. You can't really do rail fence very easily. I mean, you can do small rail fences and then put them together. The center panel itself is 43.5 by 28.5. Golly, I didn't measure it. Mystery quilt has me very excited. I will not try to guess it at the end. I think I already have a home for it. Nice. I think you're gonna love how that mystery quilt turns out, Terry. I think you're gonna love it. It's going to be probably unexpected, is what I'm going to guess. I think everybody will be very shocked at exactly the way that it comes together. The Yakima Guild is doing the Riley Blake sew along. 3 ladies are using reds, blues, and whites in their blocks to commemorate the 250th birthday of the country. Yes, that is a fantastic thing to do, and that's kind of why I started this year. I really wish that I had started this earlier so that I could finish it in this year, but I think it works out better that I'm not going to finish it this year, just because I have so much on my plate. But I think it's still, yeah, I think it's still a good thing. So far, all my points are safe. Yay! Yay! I got some more sewing to do on that too. I got enough done to be able to show you guys what you're doing. I am behind on my own mystery quilt, but this is the second time I made it too. I made it, then I wrote the pattern, then I'm making it again. The next one, I'm going to try to record as I go. So we're going to see how that works. I don't know if it'll work. I'm seriously thinking of putting the center panel as a separate thing, frame it with old barnwood or wood, period. Oh, you could buy another panel too for it. You could buy another panel just for that. Have one for the quilt and have one for the wood border, right? I'm just trying to enable you, Rita. Hi, Tabor Chat. Welcome up. Word up to you too. Glad you're here. Thank you so much. Hi, Kevin. Yes, you would need to order a second panel, Rita. I'm gonna enable you. You know it. You know it. Welcome in. Oh, thank you for sharing. I appreciate it. I've been having trouble getting over to your channel lately. I've been a little bit both under the weather and just swamped with everything going on in my life. So thank you so much for coming and hanging out with me. Even if it's just for a little bit, I appreciate every moment. You're awesome and you're rocking me out, so thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. This project is a 12-month project, and we are on month 2 of it. And we're going to be making the quilt that is up here. And then I have my Sunday nights and my Tuesday nights. And it's second and fourth Fridays at the moment. So yeah, we've been busy over here. Not crazy busy, but busy enough. Busy enough. I just did a giveaway on the 14th. And everything but one item shipped out. I was waiting for an address, and that will get shipped out Monday because I have the address now. So everything, if you want a prize on Tuesday, your prize has shipped. Under the weather is a pain, which I haven't done a video in a few days. Zero voice right now. Yeah. You've been hearing me, right? I have a voice, but it's been a day. It's been a day. Thank you, Kevin. I'm so glad you're here. Thank you so much, sir. That's awesome for you to bring everybody, or bring yourself over here, and then anybody else too. So thank you, thank you, thank you. For those of you who don't know, if you are a content creator, you want to know who Kevin at Tuber Chat is. And Kevin, if you want to do exclamation selfie in my chat, you absolutely can. And that's going to drop a link to your channel so that any of the content creators here can check you out. If you're looking to grow your channel or get more feedback from other content creators where they help you out and they form a community around you, Tuber Chat is the channel that you want to go check out. So if Kevin will drop his channel, then you guys will have a link to go out there. So if you're a content creator, Tuber Chat is a place you want to go hang out as often as you can to help get your watch hours and get your channel growing. Oh, Rita says she has 0 above a whisper. Yeah. 0 above a whisper. I can feel you on that. I would be there if I didn't rest as much as I have been. I've been getting fussed at and griped at by people if I'm not resting enough. So yeah, I've been having to do more resting. Soft-spoken is my issue. Yeah. Well, no, having to be soft-spoken because you don't have a voice. Yeah. My issue isn't that I have to. Is the graphic on the screen what you're working on right now? It sure is. It absolutely is. So we did, if you look directly above the flag map and directly below it, those 2 blocks are the same. That's what we did last month. And so this month we are doing the one to the right-hand side of the top or left-hand side of the bottom center block. And this is the start of that block. We've got 8 of these to put into one block. So I'm working on getting the other 7 done. So, and it's all sewing through paper. You don't have to sew through the paper, but I do. So yeah, that is what we are working on today. That's our little, it's our little side quest. It's our little side quest. Oh, you are so awesome, Kevin. Thank you so much for being here. Made it very hard to call in sick whenever I lost my voice. Yeah. How are you supposed to call when you're sick? When you don't have a voice? That's when I would enlist my neighbor, I think. I'd go knock on doors until somebody answered, and I just hold up a sign of, I have no voice. Can you tell them I have no voice and I can't be there? Rita says she loves the corner stars of all of those. I know. I'm looking forward to those. I don't remember when I'll get to them, but I'm loving those corner stars. All right. Next one, Susan, if it was just no voice, I'd be okay, but mine is that stupid cough that goes along with it. Yeah. I'm fighting that cough too. This sudden snow that we had, everything had just started to bloom, and now we have the snow that just happened. So it's sending my system all kinds of weird places. And one of those is the congestion and no voice feeling, or my throat is kind of scratchy and all that. But the other is that my joints have been absolutely horrendously painful. For some reason, I can't see everyone in the chat. I hear you talking about them, but I don't see them. That's okay, Pat. Choose live chat and see if that shows you more. Sometimes YouTube on the top chat, if you look at the chat area, if you have it on top chat, it only hosts, or it only shows you the ones that YouTube thinks is important, which is definitely not what it should be showing. But live chat usually shows everything. And as a playground supervisor, needed my voice. Yes, you did, Susan. How can you supervise those kids and yell at them? You get their attention when you have no voice. Corner stars are the St. Louis stars. Oh, okay. Pat, make sure you are on live chat. Yep. That's where we went. Yeah, live chat. I always have it up on live chat. And sometimes that it works and sometimes it doesn't. It's just a matter of playing with it. You may, if that doesn't work though, you may have to go out and come back in. Sometimes YouTube is playing those kinds of games too. And sometimes you just have to go out and come back in to refresh everything. All right. Once I get this round done, Pat says I think I am. Okay. Let's see. So I've got one more piece to add after all these. So this is my next to last round, and then we can sew together. Live chat, all messages. Yeah, that's where I am. I don't know. There's usually a drop down. Oh, I definitely don't see everything when I go to top chat. There's a lot of things missing on top chat. So yeah, live chat is where it's at. Yeah, that's where it is. All right. And I am pressing my pieces as I go. Some of these have been stuck in a bag for a couple weeks at least. So I am pressing them to get them pressed back out. I wonder if, I don't know. I feel like this one piece, guys, this piece 4, it would be easier if I angled the fabric in there versus putting it straight in there. But I don't know why she would have you cut it the size she did if she didn't want you to put it in there straight. So I don't know. I do not know. Feel free to experiment with it. I may experiment with it on the second block, but I'm not going to do it on this one. Hey, Mona did what is here? Welcome in. It's so terrible. Tammy's making me have to go buy fabric for this one. I see how it is now. I know, Rita. It is such an inconvenience. Such an inconvenience to have to go buy fabric. This quilt is so pretty, though. Then watch Mona, and she forces me to have to make a zipper pouch. I tell you, enablers. Yes, enablers, right? Oh, we are all enablers, Rita. We all enable each other. See, I want to enable you guys to come to Casper in September, but I already know there's people who can't make it. So I'm having to be nice and not try to enable you guys more. I'm trying. But I definitely want to see you guys in person. It'd be fantastic. We are less than 2 weeks away from early registration closing, which is absolutely crazy to me that we're that close to that. I cannot believe we're already that far into the year, that we're already going up on May. When I first started this in December and then was able to do the launches in January, I did not think that May would feel this close ever. Like I always thought it was going to be, felt like it was going to be so far away, but it is not. It is definitely not so far away. All right. Next to last one. That is one enable I'm not enabled of doing. I know, right? Oh. So you mean I can't convince you, Rita? Is that what you're saying to me? But there's no convincing you? All right, fine. I'll take it. I hear you. But you can't blame me for trying. You can't blame me for trying. You know, if William would just rent his darn Wienermobile and drive you guys up here, that would be perfect. That is what enable. Let's see. That would be much fun, but I don't travel much. That's okay. I know. There's a lot of people who don't. But I would definitely enjoy having you here. I think you would have a blast. An absolute blast. Kathy from My Hobby Home is going to be here. And we got quite a few people in the quilting community that are coming out here. And I think it's going to be a good time. Rip It Mona made a new bag. I love it. We're enabling each other, guys. We're enabling each other. See? Even content creators are not immune from getting dragged in to being enabled. Show me the email. Show me email. Trust me, Tammy, if I could, I would. That drive would do me in. I know it would. I know it would. Show me email. If you need to email me, is that what we're looking for? It's !email. Let me get it in there for you. Let's see. Here we go. I do good to sit in a vehicle for the 5 miles to go buy fabric. Yeah, I know. Your back is just determined to not let you have all the fun. If your back were, not hurting and not in so much of a disarray, you'd be almost unstoppable, wouldn't you? I think that's my problem too. I'm staying away from shopping channels, right? Me too, Mona. I am not going to shopping channels. That is not happening. I know better. Because I'm going to want stuff that I can't get and can't afford to get. So no, I'm not getting on the shopping channels either. Not doing it. So for those of you who wonder, yes, I chain press. I will lay my pieces on top of each other. My ironing board over here, the little mini ironing board, and actually my big one too. I've got that silver ironing board fabric stuff in there and multiple times with multiple layers of batting. And so the heat actually bounces back up. So I use the heat of the pieces I just pressed, the heat from the ironing board, and it all comes back up through the pieces underneath it. So when I get done pressing all of this, I have a nice, neat little stack of pieces on top of each other, and I didn't have to do a lot of extra movements, which is amazing. The extra movements sometimes kill me, so I get to cut that out. But I do have to say, a zipper bag made from zippers. I love that bag, Mona. Yeah. I did splurge and bought Highland cow fabric. Oh my gosh. I do have some Highland cow fabric that I'm holding on to send to Jess from So Blessed by Jess. And she's seen it. I've sent her a picture of it. But I'm holding on to it. I'm going to take it to her when I get to see her in person. Giovanna! Oh my gosh. Good afternoon to you. Good evening, afternoon, evening, whichever it is. Good one to you. Glad you're here. Good to see you. Let's see. Oh. Yeah, I stay away from the shopping channels because I know better. I know me. And I know I would want something. And when I have big girl money, I want to use it. And so, yeah, I stay away. I stay away. I shop local or I shop with friends. Oh no, Mona, do not let Jess know. I know, right? Yeah, the Highland cow fabric, don't let Jess know. I don't know if she's on this spending a hiatus right now. But I know she would love the Highland cows. 7:30 p.m. Okay, so I did catch evening. Good, good. Yes, so good to see you. So good to see you. I'm doing these Saturdays once a month. So I don't know when I'm going to do May. I don't know if that's going to be, it's not going to be second Saturday. It's not going to be May 9th. I know that. I will be busy. But I will look and see when May is going to be, when I get a chance to. It'll be closer to the end of April before I can decide. But we will do one in May, obviously June. We're just going to keep going. We're just going to keep going. A Saturday a month. Oh, I'm folding this and I'm not trimming. I was wondering what didn't feel right. So usually what I do, guys, is I fold. How am I doing? I'm doing pretty good. I'm doing pretty good. I'm hurting, but I'm functional. And so I'm not going to complain. Let's put it that way. But I'm always hurting, guys. In case you did not know, I am always hurting. All right. Let's see. That's what I needed to do. Okay. So usually what I do when I go to fold this paper back is I go ahead and take my ruler and set it down up against the paper and go ahead and trim. Thank you, Mona. She says congratulations on 1,000. Big achievement. I know. Thank you. I was so excited when I hit that. I hit it in December, I believe. I think I hit it in December. And I could not be happier. Could not be happier. We're kind of sitting at the same 5 up and down over the last like 3 weeks now. So like the subscriber numbers have not changed over the last 3 weeks, but that's normal. That's normal. It's part of it. I want to make sure I counted this right. There are 7 colors, and then the background. Is that right? I think so. I think so. I'd have to look at the pattern and look at the fabric requirements to know for sure. Thank you, Giovanna. She's congratulating me on 1,000. Thank you. I was so excited to get there. So excited. And so I'm very appreciative of everybody who's here, who supports me, who subscribes. I love all of you guys. You make this possible for me. And I enjoy being able to relax and spend time with you and share with you what I'm working on, maybe inspire you to do something that you might want to work on that you see me doing. As they call it, enabling. I don't mind. I don't mind being an enabler. But I really do enjoy it. So thank you, guys. This is kind of like my escape from the everyday when I get to hang out with you. I just counted the colored squares just want to make sure. Okay, so the taupe that's in this block, for example, is supposed to be also for sashing. So you can potentially count that as 2 separate fabrics. It just depends. Taking the pattern with me so I can get the colors. This one that I am not doing scrappy. Yeah, I would not do this one scrappy. it'd be really hard to do it beautifully and scrappy at the same time. If your lives are not at my night, I would be on a lot more. I know you would. I know. And that's kind of why I brought Saturday morning back as a periodical thing. Right now, I could not handle having every Saturday. I'm hoping that after I move, some things will change. Right now, I have very, very obnoxiously noisy neighbors upstairs, and they're home on the weekends. They're home basically nights and weekends, and we get no relief from the noise. I think they actually might have gone to go do laundry, so they're quiet at the moment, but they were crashing about at the early part of this live. So they were wrestling yesterday. They were fall to the floor and shake the whole apartment. So we're definitely looking forward to when we can get out from being literally underneath them and not have that kind of noise going on. That will make a huge difference in what I'm physically able to do, because I won't have the mental stress too. Oh, you're fine, Giovanna. Did you see Tuesday nights? All the cool stuff. So I am starting. It shows the sashing is supposed to be colored latte. Oh yeah, no, I don't have latte then. I did not find any fabric for that, so I don't have my sashing yet. I don't. That is so rude. It is so rude. They've been rude since day one. These people have no respect whatsoever. It's been an ongoing battle, ongoing issue, and I can't. There's not much I can do to fight it, so I just exist with it at the moment, and we'll just take it from there. All right, so this sewed. Okay, so I'm going to turn this. I think so. This fabric is kind of directional. It doesn't have to be, but if I sewed it there, this is also, this is piece B. Okay, so if I sew it there, it's going to flip out this way, and it might do exactly what I need it to do. So we're going to sew all of these pieces in the exact same way, where it's the stripes are horizontal to the seam. So we're going to do that and see if that will work. I won't know until I'm done sewing all of them, so we're just going to take it as it comes. These colors are going to be interesting to find. I'm just going to come as close as I can. Take the panel with you, Rita. Believe me, it makes a difference. Just take that panel with you, and you could completely change the colors. As long as you are still pulling from that panel, it's going to look beautiful. You want to pull from that panel. You want to match that panel as much as possible, because the panel is not going to change colors. So, pull colors and fabrics that match that panel. Yeah, take the pattern, but take the panel too. Trust me, the pattern and the panel, when I looked at them, it does not look like they're exactly like the pattern printed with the panel colors exactly. So I was able to pull fabrics based off that panel versus just pulling the pattern itself. It made a huge difference. Rita says that the colors are going to be interesting to find. Going to come as close as she can. Yeah, that's all you can do sometimes. That's all you can do. I mean, you could actually go online and, oh, thank you, Mona. You too. She says, have a great day. Have a great afternoon. Thank you for stopping by. I appreciate it. She does list what fabrics she used, so you can get the exact fabric numbers and all of that, but I wasn't going to do that. You guys know me. I am fine with substituting fabrics in and getting close matches, or, something else that works. Yeah, right, Rita? She says the panel is a bit different in the colors. Yeah, just a bit. It's not by much. Yeah, no, you're fine, Rita. She says she didn't want to buy the kit or the fabric, or for the fabric. No, I didn't want to either. And that was just, when my local quilt shop was offering this, they were offering it as a block of the month kit. So I could buy the pattern and the panel separately, and I was the one to buy the last one that they had. But I could buy the panel and the pattern, but I didn't want to make it with the local quilt shop because I wanted to be able to make it here with you guys. And I didn't have time, and they were charging a little bit more than I wanted to spend for the fabrics, but I don't know. This is probably reasonable pricing. This quilt shop is very reasonable overall. I just didn't find that I had the money for that right then. And I didn't want to be locked in and not be able to do it. All right, we're almost there. This is the last piece on all of them. So this piece 5. And I think I got 2 more to go. There we go. It's very rare for me to buy a kit. Fab Farm, I bought a kit. And I have a couple of other kits, but they've been gifted to me. I did buy a Jacqueline Dijon kit, but I bought that many years ago. And I think it's necessary for that particular quilt for me to have a kit. It'll help me figure out exactly how she's doing everything, and then I can do my other Jacqueline Dijon in my own colors. I do have a second Jacqueline Dijon pattern in my own colors. As an FYI, the panel's only $5.99 right now. Oh my gosh, crazy deal. So guys, if you've not ordered your pattern or your panel, the panel is on a steep discount. That's amazing. That's an amazing price. $5.99 for a panel is not bad. Usually panels are $15 and up. As long as where I've seen them. I'll put it that way. Everywhere that I've seen panels, they've been $15 and up. So that's not a bad price at all, guys. Not a bad price at all. So if you are looking to join in on this one, Honeybee Fabrics is the place to go. Honeybee. So look in the description box, and there's going to be a link to the pattern and a link to the panel. You want to buy both. If you want both. Just saying. Just saying. Now, I could see this, and I'm just going to posit it out there. If you can find a big enough Christmas panel, now it is discount, right? I know, Rita. If you can find a big enough panel, imagine this all in Christmas fabrics. Imagine this as a Christmas quilt. Ooh, or a Halloween quilt. Change up all the colors. Do a lot more blacks and purples and greens and oranges. And do, I don't know. Oh my gosh, could you imagine? Just redo this whole pattern in another colorway. I could totally see it. And you can sub in different panels. So if you want this to be a Quilt of Valor, you could sub in a more patriotic panel. Marshall Dry Goods has mini panels and affordable ones as well. Yes, they do. Yes, they do. I haven't been shopping for panels for a while, though. I do have the one for October for the Sew and Tell giveaway quilt. So I've got to pull that out in the next couple of days and see what exactly I want to do with it, because it usually takes me 6 months to get that quilt done and put together. Absolutely, Terry. She says she's going to be right back. She's in the other room. That's fine. But this way I ordered mine directly from Honeybee and had the pattern and panel in under 4 days, and she got it out to me almost immediately. That's amazing. That's amazing customer service. I do think that she is one of the shops that I will definitely order through in the future. So anytime she's got something that I need, hey Carrie, welcome in. Anytime she's got something that I need or want, she'll probably be who I turn to. Okay, so all of these are done. Well, all for all for one block is done. So all 8 pieces for one block is done. So I don't need this ruler anymore. So I'm going to put my at 1/4 away, and I'm going to trim these up so that I have my outside edges and my seams where these go together all trimmed to 1/4 of an inch. So you'll have paper cut off, and if you've got a piece bigger than an inch, I save it when I do these cutoffs. So just as an FYI, if you're doing foundation paper piecing and you've got all those odd shaped cutoffs, if you can cut a 1-inch square out of it, save it, because you know you can send it to me. I do not mind. Just throw it in a bag, throw it in Ziploc, throw it in a mailer, and then ship it off to me. I do not mind one bit. I love getting them. I do love getting them. Now, she did give you little trim out pieces on this pattern. So when you come down to these points, she did give you little notches that you can cut in, so you would not have a sharp point here and a sharp point here. I'm not trimming that. I don't feel I have a need to. And I will absolutely trim or take the paper off later once the whole block is assembled. When you have a giant area like this diagonal, I don't want to potentially stretch my fabric before I put it together. It'd be much easier to brace the whole block versus 1/8 of a block at a time. So let's see. I never trim those notch things, says Rita. There are times that I do. Now on Yuletide Sampler, she tells you to trim the little notches, and she means it. You really do benefit from trimming them. I mean, you can get away without not trimming it, I'm sure, but you do have there is a benefit for that. I need to wait until retreat for my next batch, so there you go. That's fine with me, Carrie. I appreciate it. I will happily accept it at retreat. That is perfectly fine with me. Perfectly fine. All right. So this is a piece B. So when it goes up here, it's going to go up there like that. So these corners are going to end up going together nicely, and they will mirror image. If I had wanted this fabric to look like it was one piece of fabric, or I was worried about it, then I would have gone back and put those pieces in there a different direction. But I'm fine with them being the mirror of each other and not being lined up. All right, we got 15 minutes. Let's see if I can get this done in 15. We're close to it. So just as a thought, if you were doing this at home, it will probably not take you 2 hours to do one block, because you won't be talking while you're doing that one block. If you are, I mean, I'm sitting here talking while I'm doing it and teaching you guys at the same time. That's what takes a little bit longer. And then of course I stop to pull patterns and stop to put things in the chat and all of that kind of stuff. All right, so I'm going to lay these down right here so you can kind of see how that's going to line up in that corner once these all go together. All right, let's see. We are going through and trimming. I really need, I need to be like Tiffany and have an Iron Man. What do you guys think? Should I look for an Iron Man? Should I look for someone to come do my ironing and or do my trimming? Talking or showing how to do something takes a long time to do a block. It does, Rita. It does. So we may end up running a little bit over, because I don't like dead air. I definitely don't like dead air. But I may end up needing to get an iron person, do that kind of stuff for me. Take some things off my plate. I don't know that I'd have to train somebody, I think, to be my cutting person. What do you guys think? Would you rather have somebody do ironing or cutting for you? I definitely would rather have somebody do cutting for me. But that may take a bit to train. Tutorials can take a long time, but only way to show how to do something. That's true. That's true. Tutorials do take a long time. Especially when you you know, have to go back and forth, or you have to go over something again and again, it can definitely be a challenge. Definitely be a challenge. All right, we are next to last, I think. Maybe, we'll see. I think I only have one more. No, I got two more. Darn it. I thought I was further along than I was. Oh well. So yeah, we may run over just a hair past noon, but it won't be by long. It won't be by long. I'm trying to keep these Saturday mornings to just a couple of hours, just because I do have other things I have to do. Welcome to my life. I was lurking as I was at my sewing machine, so I blocked 9 of 42 block cards I have gotten so far. Oh my gosh. That's a lot. That's a lot. My lady downstairs did something. I don't know what she did. I just felt that. I used to iron for a family. Loved ironing winter, but I don't iron anything for myself. I do not iron my clothes. If I need something ironed, I go to Mr. Siberian Wind and I go, does this need to be ironed? And he looks at me, looks at whatever it is, and he makes a decision. And then if it does, he takes over. So I don't have to iron my clothes if they need ironing. I have to iron my quilt pieces. I have gotten him to iron fabric for a quilt backing once. He quickly learned that that was a lot more than he is expecting. When I'm doing FPP, there are shortcuts that I use, but I do not show those on tutorials. I completely confuse. Yeah. Some of the tutorials that I do too, Rita, or some of the shortcuts that I do, would absolutely cause most people to do that brain hiccup thing. Totally cause them to do that. All right, so I got one more to trim, and then we will be to sewing it down. I may be able to get it done in time. We're going to see. We are going to see. So we'll have 4 A's and 4 B's, so we got to sew together. I can chain piece that. And then we'll have 4 quadrants. We can sew them together, and I can take the paper out later. I don't have to take it out on the live, and we'll see about that. But yeah, so Mr. Siberian Wind will absolutely iron my clothes should they need it. Because usually when I ask him, he's already got the iron out for ironing something else for himself. So it's usually not a big deal for him to iron something else for me. I am trying to figure out reflections. I keep getting my angle. Oh no! Oh no! Is it, oh gosh, I'm trying to think. Set your piece with your background, set that down, and then look at the video and look at how the piece angles on top of it and see if that helps it click. Because that piece has to angle the specific way, otherwise it won't fit. It got that part, it does have to, I have to, when I'm sitting there doing it, I can't necessarily do the words of like top whatever to bottom whatever. I can't do those very easily. So when I do the videos, I have to sit there and think about that before I can do it. So sit there with the background, the piece with the light, or the background, sorry, the light with the, yeah, with that piece. Sit there with that, with the medium on top of it, and just keep moving around. Yay! All right, Susan is getting started early on the super chats for October. Thank you, Susan. You got a raffle ticket for October. October 13th is the giveaway date, guys. So you can start entering now. You are more than welcome to start entering now for that. Giovanna says, that's so sweet of him. It is. It is. Susan is currently angle challenge. Yeah. There's a lot of angles in reflections. There is. There's not as many as you think. But once the reveal comes, when you get to see the reveal, you'll understand why. Oh, it won't meet at the point. Okay. So my point is not at the 1/4 of an inch. My point on that does not go all the way to the 1/4 of an inch. So do not panic if your point at the top, the point where both of those medium fabrics meet, don't be upset if that does not meet at 1/4 inch. It's okay if it does not. If it comes in, as long as you have 1/4 inch and you're not cutting off that point, then you're okay. It's very flexible. It's very flexible. You just need to have 1/4 inch total that's going to be your medium fabrics. The rest of it, it's not going to be at 1/4 inch. Mine is like 3/8, so it's like 1/8 inch away, something like that, from where that 1/4 inch is going to be. I hope that's helping. I hope that'll help. I pinned mine first and folded it back to see if I had the angle correct. Yeah, that's what I do too on some of it, to see if I was getting it right, because I struggled with it too, because it is such an odd shape. The odd shape will make a lot more sense when you guys see it in the finished, but you have some give room on it. For me, the printed instructions on reflections as well, nothing against Tammy, but totally confusing me, so I have to go off videos. Yeah, the written instructions is so that there's a print option for those who need it in words. The written instructions are meant to accompany the video anyway, so it's not supposed to be a standalone. Those written instructions are not a standalone at all. Any of my videos like that I do, the written instructions are not going to be standalone. When I do written instructions that are a standalone, then that is a purchase pattern, not a free pattern. I do have a question. Can I iron out the fold now, or should I wait? You can iron out the fold. Yeah, you absolutely can. You are done with that piece until we go to assemble it in September. You are done with it. Once that piece is done, you are able to iron out that fold for sure. After taking apart 10 of the reflections blocks, decided, okay, go back and wait, as just was not making any sense to me from directions. Yeah, the printed directions, they are meant just as a follow along so that the verbal instructions click. So a lot of people can't handle just verbal instructions, so that's why I add those, but you do have to have those videos for reflections. So like temperature rings and flying geese mountains, those are standalone patterns, and there are no videos for those patterns, and those patterns are paid for patterns. Those are patterns I charge for, because I'm literally writing every single bit of my instruction on there, and there's no way for me to do anything different. I have issues string them. I thought I made later. Sitting them not ironed. Yeah, I thought I may need it later. Yeah, no, you do not need that press anymore. Once it is trimmed to your 6.5 by 6, you don't need it anymore. You don't need anything else with that piece until September, and you will not need that seam. You will not need that press. Someone has to clean and wash in this house, right? That's me in this house. That is me. All right, so all of my quadrants are sewn together. I am going to press them with the fabric, or with the paper still in place. I am actually going to take just the paper out of this seam. So I'm not going to take all the other paper out. I'm just going to take the paper out that's in the seam, because when I sew this together, I don't want to have to go back and use tweezers to get paper out. Okay, so I'll show you exactly what I'm talking about here in just a second. Okay, so I have taken out just that paper. Can you take out all of it? Yes, you absolutely can. Am I going to? No. I don't have time to do that and still show you what this is going to look like. So I actually only need to take out paper close to the center. So that's what I'm going to do on the other pieces. And you can press these seams to one side. I'm pressing them open. I don't know what her directions said as far as pressing those, but I'm not going to fight with it. I don't see a point to it. So I'm just taking out what's going to be in the seam. It would be hard for me to take out once I sew all 4 of these together. I told my service dogs they needed to scrub the floors the entire house, so 2 of them decided mouthful of water and saliva on the floor is considered mopping when you roll in it. Yes, it is. Yes, it is, Rita. Oh, storing them out, not ironed. Yeah. So Terry says she uses both written and video. I find if I don't sew until I understand it, it works out better for me. Yeah. Yeah. I know everybody has a different learning curve when it comes to anything, whether that's sewing or reading or math or whatever. Everybody learns differently, and there's a lot of different learning styles out there, and some of them are universal and work for everybody, but not everything does. So I want to give everybody the opportunity to try it out. All right. We're going to run a little bit over the 2 hours, but not by too far. I got 2 more pieces to pull that paper out of the center of the seam, because the center of the seam is the only one that's really going to matter, because these others I'll still be able to get to. I haven't cut any extra off, says Carrie. Yeah. Oh, okay. You haven't cut any extra off. That's fair. If you want to leave them until September, just keep that page with it. Keep that printout with it, so that way you remember that it's got to be cut still. Like, make some kind of notation. And we will handle that when it comes time. So if you, like I said, if you, at your point, if you have over 1/4 inch, you're good. If you have at least 1/4 inch, you're good. If you have less, that's when there's an issue. That's when you'd need to try it again. That's when you'd need to try. Now there should be extra on the sides and the top, but that's where, again, you want to make sure you leave at least 1/4 inch. With mine, that was where the majority of my trim off was, is towards that point. But again, you're only trimming to make it that size, but you want to make sure that you have that 1/4 inch. I do not know what that emoji is, Mona. She sent a dog. Or she sent, like, let's see, you sent 5 dogs. I see that one. And then you sent another one. I don't know what that emoji is. I can't see it. I don't know if I need to zoom in on the chat or something. I can read. I can read with my, at a distance with everything so tiny. Mr. Siberian Wind cannot read my screen. Question may be dumb. Is this the same as using freezer paper? You can use freezer paper on this. I didn't, but you can. With freezer paper, you wouldn't have to peel the extra off. So you wouldn't have to peel it off like that. Like, you wouldn't have to rip the paper. You just peel the whole darn thing off, and it would come off in one sheet. And you could reuse it. I just, again, I didn't want to do that. So I didn't want to deal with freezer paper today for this. I just figured that this was simpler for me. And lo and behold, it is. So there's that. Okay. So this is what it looks like. There is still paper underneath this piece. Actually, I pulled it all out of that one. Okay. There's still paper underneath this piece on this one. But there's no paper underneath here, which is what we're about to join together. Okay. That's the center of the star. All right, so I'm going to lay 2 of these together, and I am using the lines on the paper. So I'm using the lines to guide my 1/4 inch. That's why I wanted to pull the paper out when I get to the center piece, because then I would be tacking those seams down and making it harder to reach. And I don't want anything to be harder than it already has to be. So there's no reason to make it harder. The nice thing with this one is you have a little bit of wiggle with this. It's not super hard to match all of this up. So it's very easy. Mona, you would make a copy on freezer paper. Yeah. Okay, so the way that I do my freezer paper is I do print on it. I will take regular I will take regular freezer paper, and like on the rolls that you get at the store, I will take regular freezer paper and I will cut it to 8.5 by 11. And you need to know which side your printer prints on, because you want to make sure you're sending the not glossy side to the ink cartridge. You do not want it trying to print on the glossy side. That is a recipe for disaster. All right. So now I've got these both attached like that. And I am going to press to one side. And I will spin this center seam. So I'm not going to worry about pulling the paper out on this because I'm pressed for time. But if you've got time and you want to pull the paper out of your seam allowance so you don't have to deal with it later, go do it. Okay? It will not hurt my feelings one bit, and it will not hurt your pattern one bit as long as you know where you're going to be sewing next. Okay? I know where I'm going to be sewing, and this is going to be gorgeous, guys. This is going to be gorgeous, and I have to load more bobbin. I ran out of bobbin thread. Oh, and I see I have like 1 inch that I ran out of bobbin thread, guys. Do I have another white bobbin? No, this is good enough though. Okay. And I dropped my bobbin case. All right. Hey, Melanie, welcome in. Good to see you. Good to see you. Mona says, no, shiny side at Brat. Yeah, don't print on the glossy side of the freezer paper. If you're going to do freezer paper, do not do it that way. Do you use freezer paper because the fabric temporarily adheres to it? I use the glue stick to hold piece number 1 of the pattern. It stays for me. Yeah. So freezer paper, yeah, basically every time that you press something to the freezer paper, it's going to stick until you run out of wax on your freezer paper, because freezer paper does have a wax on it, a waxy film. So yeah, it does stick to it and just stays put for you. So every time that I fold a piece back and I'm ready for this next piece, that freezer paper will hold it in place. So every time you go to press, you are basically adhering your piece to the freezer paper. And it's kind of like a temporary glue. It doesn't gum up your needle like glue can. So if you are a glue user, but you found that it kind of gums up your needle or leaves a residue on your machine, then freezer paper does not do that. You will not have that problem. I did, however, just break my needle because I got too many layers there. All right, discard that and get a fresh one. Let's see. Freezer paper also does sometimes not want to come off fabric, so be aware. Yes, that is true. Not for this quilt, but for the St. Louis Star corner box would look amazing in purple, maroon, pink, tan, and black. It would. You are not wrong in that. You are not wrong in that. So yeah, guys, be aware that when you get to this corner, if you leave all your fabrics or all your papers in place, it will be very thick and your machine might not like it. So I am definitely at that point. So we're going to see if I can ease it through. Okay, I eased it through, and so we should be good to go through. And just remember that you got a lot of fabric layers there, and it can sometimes be bulky. And I may have a piece of needle still in there, so don't do as I say, or don't do as I do, do as I say. Just saying. Let's see, never put glue where you sew. True. Are all my patterns FPP? No, they are not. So the temperature rings pattern that I have available for sale is FPP, as well as AccuQuilt. If you have an AccuQuilt, you don't have to have it to do it though. And then the Flying Geese Mountains is not FPP. This pattern right here is not mine. It is a purchase pattern. There's a link in the description box where you can purchase it from Honeybee Fabrics. And it is only got 2 blocks that are FPP. Everything else in it is regular traditional piecing. So you do not have to worry about everything being FPP because it is not. All right, so I'm gonna have to press this later. because I'm going to have to pull that paper out. But this is block 2. And look at how my corners turned out, guys, because I did that. Oh, yeah, no. Yeah, for this one, no. Not all of them are FPP. Just this block, which is above the map to the right, or below the map to the left, is this block. And then all 4 corners is the same block, and those are FPP. Yeah, only 2 of these are FPP. Put a dab of glue in the middle of the first piece on each section, never on a seam. Yeah. Some people do, though, and that's kind of why they have to work on it. So yeah, so I've got a lot of paper to rip out, guys. And I might go back and nudge this center seam just a little bit if I want to. But I'm going to pull the paper out before I do that. And I'm going to make sure that I did not leave any needle bits in there when my needle broke a minute ago. So we're going to check it out. But what do you guys think? What do you guys think? This one is the Illinois Star. So we've done Chicago Pavement, and now we've got the Illinois Star. And this is all FPP. That's why you get such clean corners, clean borders. Do all of them line up? Mostly. I see 1 or 2 that are not like exact, but it's close enough. So this one's Illinois Star. So join me again next month. Look for a Saturday live in May. Thank you, Debt-Free Quilter Heather. Please, I hope I got that right. Please tell me if you're Heather. I think you are, but I don't want to be wrong. So I will show you guys. Well, I will have to get the other one of these done because there's 2 of these. I've only done this one. But we will, in May, we will be following up with the next block. I do not know the name of it because my pattern is tucked away. But next month we will be working on this as well. So look for a Saturday live about the same time, 10 a.m. Mountain Time. And I will see you guys then for that. If you are if you're new to my channel, or you haven't followed along for a while, I can't talk. If you haven't followed along for a while, I do have a live tomorrow night after Sunset Sunday. And this weekend I have Sean, the guy who sews, coming to join me and hang out. And I will be working most likely on my, oh gosh, what's the name of it? I can't think of the name of the pattern I'm working on. Oh no, Nightbot got you, Mona. Nightbot got you. All the hearts. I love them, Mona. Thank you so much. Thank you. All right, well, guys, I will see you tomorrow night for After Sunset Sunday. Before then, make sure you go pet some fabric, put some needle and thread to fabric, love on it, pet it, get that serotonin, hit that dopamine boost, and I will see you